What up, y'all? Naturegirl 30 here, and as you can see, it is time for another pay-per-view just before the Royal Rumble. Clash of Champions, probably one of the most, well, lackluster pay-per-views there are, but they got time to fill. They got a void to fill in. You know, they got money to make. That's pretty much what it is. So, let's get started with this pay-per-view, guys. Honestly, y'all, I'm not necessarily completely excited about this, but I really think that as usual, they're going to probably give us something amazing to watch. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form going to be disappointed about this at all. Okay, let's get started with what the kickoff show I think is going to be, and that's Mojo Rawley versus Zack Ryder. There's been some heat, there's been some tension going on with these guys for a very long time. It's been a lot of, I don't know, predictions that Zack Ryder was going to turn on Mojo, but ended up being Mojo turning on Zack. Honestly, Zack has gotten the Raw deal for a very long time. And Mojo Rawley had a decent push while Zack Ryder was out. So in my humble opinion, I don't really think that Mojo should win here. I think Zack Ryder should get some sort of comeuppance. I mean, for crying out loud, not only was the guy extraordinarily over when it came to his own channel, and honestly, I like I guess Long Island IZ with Long Island IZ True Hollywood Story, stuff like that. Well, you know what I mean. It was his YouTube channel that he had a long time ago before, well, we don't really see it much anymore before WWE bought it out. And then he ended up becoming the Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania 32. And he had a lot, and also he became the U.S. champion. He's had a pretty decent run before a very short period of time. So in my opinion, I really do think that Zack Ryder should actually get something from this instead of Mojo Rawley, because let's be honest, Zack Ryder has gotten the Raw end of the deal. So my vote goes to Zack Ryder for the win. Now, let's move on to another match. And honestly, guys, I'm not thrilled about any of these, but honestly they might be more entertaining as time goes on down the line. Now we actually do have 4 championship matches instead of the usual, you know, for Clash of Champions you would usually have like a whole bunch of championships that will actually be defended, but unfortunately we don't really have that this time. We only got 4 championships that are actually being defended. We have the U.S. title, we have the tag team belts, we have the women's title, and then we have the main belt. So it's not really much going on. So before I get into the championship match, let's talk about Breezango versus the Bludgeon Brothers. The Bludgeon Brothers has pretty much have been making, I don't know, they're not horrible or anything. They kind of remind me of the Gallagher Brothers when they have those hammers and they're like bashing cameras. It reminds me of the Gallagher Brothers when they bashing melons. But besides all that, I love Breezango. I want Breezango to win. I mean, they are way over with their show, The Fashion Files, and it sucks how The Fashion Files are now on the now on WWE.com. I guess it's trying to get people to actually use the website more, and that's probably why they put them on there, which sucks because that was the one thing I was looking forward to. But anyway, I digress. I really do think that Breezango needs to have a win here. I really do. But then the Bludgeon Brothers just made their debut, and we know what happens when you have big monsters making their debut. They got to come out looking strong. So let's be honest. Do you really think that Breezango is honestly going to win here? As much as I would love for them to win, I don't think that they are. So my vote goes to the Bludgeon Brothers for the win. Now, going on from there, we actually do have another standalone match, and in my humble opinion, that standalone match is going to probably be the main event because Shane McMahon is in it. I could be wrong, or maybe that could be the second main event of the night. We got Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan as special guest referees. That if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn loses, then they're going to lose their jobs. They're not going to be in the company at all, and they're going to be completely fired. Let's be real here. I do not think that they are going to fire Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn, yeah, he might be a loss. Like, they might just cut their losses with him. Even though he is a really great worker with an amazing amount of endurance with the matches he's been in. And by far, I will always be impressed with him with his match for NXT TakeOver Dallas. His match versus him and Shinsuke, probably one of the best matches I've ever seen in my entire life. But let's be honest here. Do you really think they're going to get rid of Kevin Owens? No. They already had Kevin Owens on Raw. It doesn't make any sense to have him go right back. Because, I mean, yeah, he actually has... him and Stephanie and Triple H, they had a thing at one time, and that they were all in cahoots with each other. That sounds weird, but all I have to say is that, yeah, he has ties to the Authority, so it would make sense for him to go back, but in a way, it doesn't make any sense for him to go back because he was there before, and it just didn't work. But I doubt that they're going to get fired. I wouldn't be surprised if they get sent to Raw. And honestly, there's a huge prediction of Shane McMahon being the heel here. Even though technically he's booked as a babyface, but in my opinion, for what he has done, and I actually had to go back and get a refresher from Wrestle Talk. And Luke Owen actually did kind of point it out. The fact that Sami Zayn was being constantly overlooked by Shane, and then you had Kevin Owens, which was stiffed by Shane. Shane technically is the heel here, but he's booked to being the babyface. And now it looks like that, and I guess maybe that Daniel Bryan is being booked as a heel whilst Shane McMahon is being booked as a babyface. The whole thing is a bit off to me. And honestly, I wish Shane wasn't in this. But seeing how what's going to happen, I doubt that Daniel Bryan is going to get involved physically, because Daniel Bryan has not been cleared by WWE to wrestle with them, even though doctors and outside of WWE have cleared him to actually wrestle, but he was not cleared to actually wrestle with the company. So there's a chance that we're not going to see any matches so far, at least until his contract is up. But I digress. We're going to see a heel turn here. More than likely, we're probably going to see a heel turn with Shane. And more than likely, they're going to boo Shane a lot more than they'll boo Daniel Bryan. So Shane is definitely going to go heel here. And I really do think that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to win. Probably out of a technicality. Because seeing how that Daniel Bryan is really on their side, and he's on the best friend side, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually helps them win. And it could be a chance that if he gets fired, he gets written off completely. But I don't think his contract is up until next year. So we'll see. But I really do think a heel turn is going to be here. And who do I think is going to win? Definitely Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. I mean, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are definitely going to win here. So let's go on to the championship matches. Let's talk about the U.S. Championship match, which actually had zero build at all. And I don't really care much for it in any way, shape, or form. But Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title. I don't care about this at all. I really don't care. I love Bobby Roode. I love his glorious gimmick. But the problem is, it made more sense between him and Baron than him and Dolph. It's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Not to mention that Dolph Ziggler has dropped his whole, I don't want a gimmick. He actually went back to his old gimmick. So... yeah, why do you have him in there? It doesn't really make any sense. And it was just had a really mediocre build. Honestly, man, I don't see it being put on Ziggler anytime soon, because Ziggler has lost more matches than I can ever count, and he's just there to put people over. Bobby Roode, it would make more sense to go to Bobby Roode, because Bobby Roode, not only is a well-known name, he was way over in NXT, even though he's not so much over on the main roster, but that's not his fault, it's how he's booked. It would make more sense for Bobby Roode to go heel here and become the U.S. champion for people to like him again. But they're going to keep it on Corbin. I'm not going to be shocked if they leave it on Corbin. Corbin, he's like a dumpster fire. For real. Y'all know how I feel about Baron Corbin, so I'm not even going to make a rant here. But I do know they're going to keep the belt on this guy. So unfortunately, my vote goes to Baron Corbin for the win. Moving on from there to the SmackDown Tag Team Titles match with the Usos, the New Day, Benjamin and Gable, and Rusev Day. I'm just going to call them that. Rusev and Aiden English in a fatal 4-way match. Okay. I love the New Day, but I don't want them to have the titles anymore. I love the aggressive Usos, and it would make sense for the Usos to keep it because they're more interesting with that belt on them than off of them. But even though Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable are amazing in the ring, they are heels. And strangely enough, I'm not really sure whether or not who's the heels and the faces in this match. I think the Usos are now faces. The New Days are faces, even though they act like heels. Then you got Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, who are heels. And then you have Rusev and Aiden English. I guess they're heels? I don't know, because Rusev Day, in my opinion, is starting to become over. I like Rusev Day. I'm planning on buying the t-shirt. But it seems to me that Rusev and Aiden English they're more like faces than they are heels. So I really don't know here. But honestly, I would love Rusev and Aiden English to win the tag team titles. Especially how much I feel that Rusev Day is over. But it would make more sense to either keep it on the Usos or put it on Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. So the choice is really difficult for me. But the Usos, their gimmick is just awesome. And it makes it more interesting for them to be champs. So my vote goes to the Usos for the win. Alright, main belt time! Ish. Let's talk about the women's championship match. Charlotte Flair versus Natalya in a lumberjack. I thought it was lumberjills. I guess they don't call it lumberjills anymore. I don't know. But in a lumberjack match with all the women around the ring. You know how that goes. Heels on one side, faces on the other. But look, we've seen Charlotte versus Natalya before. And honestly, I'm disappointed by them. Because Charlotte versus Natalya for the NXT Women's Championship by far was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. It was beyond a clinic. Oh my gosh. It's like Natalya gave it her all. Charlotte gave it her all. They put out all the stops. It was so much heart and emotion in that match. For those that have the network, go back and watch that. That's one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. But they have watered themselves down so much on the main roster. It is disappointing. And let's be real. I hope they don't put it on Natalya. She's the most boring champion there is. I'm sorry. She literally has the personality of a puddle. That's pretty much it. And just as deep. She's an amazing worker in the ring. She's definitely an in-ring veteran. She's well respected behind the scenes. But good grief is her personality style. Like, oh my gosh, does she make the belt boring being on her? So I would love for it to be with Charlotte. Because Charlotte, oh my gosh, she just, royalty just flows out of her. Like, seriously, she makes everything interesting. I like Charlotte. Not because of who her dad is. I just have always loved Charlotte. And Sasha. And pretty much all of her 4 horsewomen. But honestly, it would be more interesting on Charlotte, and I hope that they realize that and don't put it on Natty. She had her few months or however long she's had that belt. And seriously, her title reigns are always forgettable, and this one is not going to be anything different. So my vote definitely goes to Charlotte Flair for the win. Alright, main belt time! Clash of Champions is going to probably end off the show with this main event, and this is for the WWE Championship, AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal. I'm sorry. That was a little funny. Now, don't get it twisted. I liked it when Jinder Mahal actually was a champion the first time. He was interesting. It was somebody different. It was somebody foreign. So, it was a really great mix. But, gosh, did he get boring as time went on? Not to mention, he is very clunky in the ring. He's extraordinarily clumsy. Well, I guess it's the same thing as being clunky. But he's clunky in the ring. His promos are not really all that great. Mainly because of the fact that they actually have him do promos for India. And they have him do promos for the US. So he's hoarse every time he comes out. And you can't take him seriously. But then he's always doing the very cheap heel way. He does it with his minions. His minions do this and that. And makes him look weak. And not to mention that in India, he lost to Triple H. Yeah, what a way to have faith in your supposed champion for India. Which shows me that when they put on AJ Styles and had AJ Styles actually be a part of Survivor Series for the Survivor Series main event, it shows that they actually do have a lot more respect for AJ Styles than they do with Jinder. So it wouldn't make any sense for Jinder to get the belt back. Because if they did, they didn't learn their lesson. And it wouldn't make any, it doesn't make any sense. They already did their Indian tour. And Triple H owned him, from what I heard. I don't know. I never really watched. But all I saw was pictures of him bowing to Triple H. Yeah, yeah, that makes him look good. But other than that, if they put the belt on Jinder, it's just gonna make that belt look bad, and it won't make him look good holding it. It makes sense to keep it on AJ. AJ is money. AJ is guaranteed money. If you literally want to have money thrown at you, put AJ Styles in any match you can think of. And that's just like money just being thrown at you. Like making it rain. Like seriously. And I don't know why I did that. But other than that, yeah. Seriously. He's instant money. So my vote goes to AJ Styles for the win. And that caps off the whole show, guys. Those are my predictions. Leave yours in the comments below. And look forward to my review of Clash of Champions when it comes out. I will see y'all later. Peace out.